probably going to bring up some debates. Would you re-sign Lamar Jackson if you were the Ravens front office?
Whoa.
The only guy that really didn't get paid this offseason, I mean, Deontay Johnson sat out, that everybody sat out and then got paid or got traded and got paid, A.J. Brown. And Lamar didn't. Lamar's an MVP. Like, he's the only dude with some hardware there out of all of these guys, why wouldn't you? Kyler Murray got a massive contract. You see Deshaun
I read
Watson
an article
get a lot
where
of money.
the Ravens are on board and all in on him, saying they'll make it work however they need to make it work. And Lamar's, just hasn't signed yet. There was also, Lamar Jackson said that because there was some things going around that he maybe didn't want to be at Baltimore, and that kind of got out, and he shut that down, saying that I don't know where people are getting this from. I love Baltimore, blah blah blah.
Yeah, rumors going to be rumors. Man.
And so, him not signing it, if they wait until March, the Ravens could put the tag on him. The Ravens don't do it often. They've only done it twice ever.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine Lamar playing under the tag.
If they tag him, exactly, it would knock his value down tremendously, considering he'd basically be playing on a 1-year deal next season and the season after that. And
but that's what the question is about. If it was you,
I'd
and
sign
you
Lamar and I
are
give
chasing
him
a Super Bowl, do you invest that kind of money,
100%.
Patrick Mahomes
Who
money,
you getting better?
into Lamar
Who
Jackson?
you getting better?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. For me, it's hard. It's a hard sell because he's not very prolific in the pass game, and if the reports are true, where they're saying he's expecting he should be getting paid like $50 million a year and all this stuff,
He's got to be on par with at least Kyler Murray. I think we all agree if you're going to pay the man, he's at least got to be there.
He's the face of Baltimore. He's great. He's a phenomenal athlete. He can lead you to victories. I don't think he leads you to a Super Bowl. I don't think he's worth $50 million a year. I think that just hurts your team. And since you mentioned he's an MVP guy, but since that MVP guy, he's done nothing but get worse.
Well, I bring that up because I was thinking while I was, this question was about, and it was like, man, this is the only guy that's gotten paid out of these quarterbacks minus Patrick Mahomes that has taken a team this far. They took him to the championship game, and you're right, it is a couple years removed now. Last year, plenty of, yeah, I think they bounced back too, but. Last season they were battled with injuries. They haven't, similar to a lot of these circumstances where they're like, where are the weapons and where are the weapons? They've subtracted too.
Yes.
As far as like receiving options, you let Marquise Brown go, and unlike the Titans, they don't even take a stab at a receiver. They say we're comfortable coming in with our number 3 and number 4 option from last year and coupling it with our 2 that we drafted last year with Bateman. Obviously they're a run first team and all that stuff. So I guess for me, I say you resign him begrudgingly a little bit, but I say you do because you have built this team around him and you have invested so much in him, and I think he can be better. I guess maybe it's just the rose-colored glasses from me that he can become a little bit better of a passer and a little bit more of a weapon like that. And I like the points that you guys kind of made about what else is there better, That is not a reason why I'm going to sign a dude. I like Lamar, and I think that it would set the organization back quite a bit. Because let's just say you don't re-sign him. You let him walk. He's not worth the $50 million. I don't agree he's worth that kind of money
no
either,
longer a
but
playoff team.
That's the going right. Well,
I mean, I agree. He makes you.
You have to reshape that
potential
whole offense, though, because if you bring in a pocket-style quarterback or somebody that is not like Lamar, you need receivers. There's no way you're going to get away with it without receivers. So all of a sudden, you got to draft 2 guys, or you got to go spend that money that you would have paid Lamar on trying to get a Galloway that might not work out, or trying to get somebody that is just out there because of the money. And that's the part that scares me a little bit, because let's just say you hit on a first-round pick. You don't sign Lamar and you hit on the next good thing at quarterback. You're going to be in an offensive state to where you're not going to have a lot of weapons behind him. So it puts you 2, 3, maybe even 4 years before you're back to where you're at right now. And that's a pretty big step back.
No, agreed. If you look at it what they are now, it is hard to not re-sign him because he is the offense.
Mm-hmm. That's 100%. What worries me in Arizona, too. Because I think if you go away from Kyler, I think they had to pull that trigger, too. I mean, it cut you off. But so much is invested in that guy. You can't if
Yeah.
you throw him out the door.
They got rid of all the weapons to
Yeah,
keep him.
yeah.
You know, Kirk, you're gone. Cameron, you're gone. Edmonds, you're gone.
Yeah.
We want Murray.
What's your opinion? What would you do?
For all the reasons, it's tough. For all the same reasons everybody else had. The guy's not going to stand in the pocket, and he's not going to win you a game standing in the pocket. Longevity. I question where is him. Where is he in able to be a quarterback when the wheels fall off and he can't run anymore. You give this guy big bucks.
6 years down the road.
You give this guy big bucks on a huge contract for the next 5-6 years. And when the athleticism starts to dwindle, what do you have? I mean, he's a 3,000 yard passer now. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If he can't be a consistent 4,000 yard passer, then I don't think he can consistently keep getting to the playoffs and being, because everybody in that division is getting better. It's not even that Cincinnati's getting better. Cincinnati's better, and Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns are like right there, maybe.
I mean,
there's a lot in the fight. There's a lot going on right now with Cleveland.
And Pittsburgh ain't gonna stay down long.
And exactly, it's like, how long is it gonna take for Pittsburgh to get the wheels back on that bus and get that bus moving? No pun intended.
You got to figure sooner than later with them.
Yeah, and I mean, because that defense is stud, right? And Trubisky, looked like for Buffalo, he could be a guy in a couple preseason games to manage an offense, and maybe. But back to Lamar, it's just I say yes. I take Lamar, and I try to keep doing what we're doing. Perfecting whatever it is he's incredible at, and it just seems like the decision making's not there. I signed him because, again, my whole argument has been based upon who are you going to get that's better if you're in win mode now. And rightfully so. No one in this room is going to look me in my face and argue with me on Baltimore's ready to win now. So if you're ready to win now, you give the bank to him because that's what you do. I mean, a lot of the times you go and you pay a quarterback big money, not because you think he's, gonna do it. You think, how am I going to get someone to replace that? I mean, I think you're ignorant in not even addressing that question before you bring up the question of, do we sign Lamar? If you don't want to sign Lamar, then what's your option? And the option isn't big.
But if you feel like that's a circumstance, I mean, you can look over at Cleveland and say, you know what, we didn't want to pay Baker, so we let him go, and we decided we're going to put all our bank and go get a Deshaun Watson.
But
eventually, somebody will
get like a Deshaun
not this
Watson.
year, not this year, but there will be in the years to come. So yeah, maybe you don't fix it the very next year. I get what you're saying there, but maybe if you feel organizationally, and that's the big thing with me, like, can Lamar get to a Super Bowl?
This team's playoff ready. The team's playoff ready, and they started off 8-3 last year.
Okay, so why do you pay a guy top echelon quarterback money if he can't get you to the Super Bowl? If he can't do it, why do you pay him that much money?
It's not a one man kind of show.
But you're Super Bowl ready. The team is Super Bowl ready. Were your last words out of your mouth? So I mean,
playoff ready is what I said. They're playoff ready. Super Bowl, a guy that you were paying the most on your team, wouldn't you figure he would be the deciding factor to get you there? I think they win a lot of games this year. I think Lamar has won a lot of games for the Baltimore Ravens. I think that he does incredible things on the field, and I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch again this year, like he was a lot of fun to watch the year before and the year before that. Sure. Minus his passing game, we all know, and everybody else knows, that it's not his strong suit. The Baltimore Ravens are ready to go to the playoffs again this year, where they didn't make it last year, where they feel like they should have, but a lot of injuries, injuries, kept them out.
The entire running back room, that was unheard of.
If they start healthy this year, or if they stay healthy this year.
Are they a Super Bowl contender for you this year if they stay healthy?
Okay. No, not necessarily.
It's about the money amount that you're tying up in a quarterback for years to come is why I kind of pose the question.
If you're going years to come, I can see what you guys are saying. I like that. Good point.
Because it hampers your ability to maybe go sign a big-time free agent.
If you're ready now, why take a step backwards You
and
know
that's
what I'm saying?
it's everybody's opinion, and that's what I'm asking.
A few years down the road, the guys that you have now, you may not have then. Even though now you might have figured out the quarterback spot, but now you lose guys. Guys are getting older.
True.
I mean,
that's part of the argument. That's part of it.
If I can go out and I don't sign him, and I can pick up a Devontae Adams and a Tyreek Hill and have them both on my roster for less than $50 million a year,
should even trade him. What if you can go trade him? You don't think there's a market for Lamar? Somebody that doesn't need a Lamar Jackson upgraded
you're
quarterback?
You're going to tell me that
and get an extra first round
quarterback
pick?
Can't throw to those two guys?
I'm just saying. It is. I don't think it's as easy as the choice. Okay, being on the same page with that, would you have paid Kyler Murray based on what he has done? Now we know Lamar has already won an MVP, so he's gotten them to the AFC Championship game. So we kind of figure maybe the Ravens are in a different place organizationally, top to bottom, than the Cardinals are. Do you pay Kyler Murray already before his contract's up the type of money that he just got paid? How do you feel about him? Or is it...
I take Kyler over Lamar.
Really?
I take Kyler over Lamar, but my problem with Kyler isn't the problem that a lot of people have. He has a glaring weakness, and it's I hope it doesn't get exploited this year. But go back and watch both games of the 49ers playing Arizona, and they got him figured out. And if you can stop Lamar, if you could stop Kyler from rolling out, then it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one for him to be able to stand in that pocket and make those throws. His game is all about rolling out, man, and getting it out. And I mean, he's probably the best at doing it. But they both have glaring weaknesses that are really, really big. I mean, if you're playing Lamar defensively, right? I mean, arguably, you want him to beat you throwing the ball. You don't want him to beat you running the ball. For sure. Because running the ball is what he does. That's what he does. That's why I just don't see the longevity in him. I mean, 6 years, or whatever, a big contract, that's huge. I mean, I pull the trigger personally myself. I pull the trigger. The team looks like they're ready now. I mean, unless I'm seeing something out of Huntley, and then maybe like everything you guys are saying, let's just keep the money, keep Huntley. It's the same guy basically. I mean, let Lamar go or trade Lamar and get some capital out of the whole thing. And
Lamar had the chance to sign and he didn't. So what it's kind of showing me is that
Lamar's the issue. He doesn't want to be a Raven.
He's his own agent.
There's a
couple of them like that. Roquan Smith's that way.
If he does think, or if he does,
it's an interesting wrinkle though, because you just don't return your calls because I'm busy.
Yeah, well, and then also with like Roquan Smith, when players are representing themselves, you see it in Roquan Smith's contract. They try to sneak in these little things into the contract. What was it with Roquan Smith? It was something. It was something weird, and he's like, I'm not signing that. It was very little money this year, and then at the end, when you have the chance to cut me, is when I'm supposed to make all my money. And he's like, I'm not doing that. You can sit there and tell me
bad faith.
You're going to sit there and tell me that I'm going to make $50 million over the next 3 years, but if you say I'm making 30 on that final year and you cut me on that final year, I don't make that 30. So if you're going to represent yourself without a lawyer, they're going to try to take advantage of that.
That would leave a bad taste in my mouth too, because it is business at the end of the day. And it's business for both sides because the players only got a certain amount of years that they can produce at that level. So, it's got to be meet in the middle. And if you're you're even setting it up to where I could fail, how the hell am I going to
look at it from Lamar Jackson's standpoint too? From if you're him and you don't want to be in Baltimore, right? Then he doesn't have to sign, right, or whatever the case may be. But if you do want to be in Baltimore, sign that big contract and lock it in.
What about this? And it just came to me.
So I just wanted to come back to the Kyler Murray thing because everybody was, trash talking that little contract thing about making sure he watches 4 hours a game filled a week. Everybody's trash talking it. Someone online did a reading of all his stats before and after a new Call of Duty came out.
Oh yeah.
The stats drastically dropped. Drastically dropped.
For sure.
That's interesting.
How about this? How about Tua fails this year? And the Ravens trade Lamar Jackson to Miami. Short passing game, quick, fast wide receivers, and a run-first type of scheme. Would that not be a great scenario? You don't think Miami would give up the house?
Nasty.
You don't think you could get at least 2 first-rounders out of that? to go up to Baltimore so that they can retool. Baltimore
that.
takes a couple
I like
years
that.
off.
That would be
First
super
rounders.
interesting.
I would think so too.
Considering what they gave up for Matthew Stafford.
I would think so too.
Jalen Hurts has a bust year.
I don't
The
think
Eagles
it's
sign him.
beyond the realm of possibilities. And he's a Miami kid too, so I don't think he would be mad about that as well. So it's tough. I think Kyler and Lamar, to me, I don't pay either one of them that kind of money. But you can't get away with not paying them that kind of money because somebody else will. So
Yeah.
it's tough.
I mean, yeah, the hard part is
you either jump in, but I don't think either one is ever going to make it to the Super Bowl
right now it's
without a
super-
lot of other things happening.
And it's super hard because at the end of the day, you look at the people who are paying them. It's a business, right? These people, they put fans in your stands and they put money in your pocket by buying their merchandise.
Yeah, that's true. That is a loss, but I think organizations like the Niners, organizations like the Ravens, organizations that are well established, they can take that risk. Now the lesser, the Cleveland Browns, they can't. They got something good going. They're like, come on, let's just go get Deshaun. Let's keep this
they
momentum
had the
going.
best
We haven't
attendance
had
last
this
year.
in a long time. There's a lot of hype, and there has been. I think it's a sad situation now, but anyway, so I couldn't pay either one of those guys, but I think ultimately they end up paying them because it's a good situation. It's just too much to tear down. But just off the top of my head, I happen to think about the Miami situation if Tua fails, and that seems like a really legit fit for him, offensive scheme wise and everything.
Good.
Let's
work out nicely.
let's keep the show